So if you're a nurse and you're reading a medication order, you've got to sit down and figure out how many drops per minute this bag should be giving you in order to deliver the proper dose of medicine on the medication order. How do you figure out how many drops per minute you should be getting? Well, you're going to need three things. You're going to need total milliliters that are in the bag. You're going to need the time that you deliver the medicine over. And you're going to need a third thing, which is called the drop factor. It is how many drops you have per milliliter. So if you've got drops per milliliter, that drop factor is just a term that they use for it. Now, it depends on what kind of liquid you've got. If you've got a watery liquid, it's going to be a lot different than it is going to be for alcohol or some organic solvent like hexane. They'll all have different drop factors. And it depends on how big your tubing is as well. So if you've got narrower tubing, your drop factor, drops per milliliter, is going to be much different from larger tubing. You have larger drops with larger tubing. So how do you measure the drop factor? This is something that you're going to do in this exercise. You take the bag or whatever with the tube that you're going to be using, and you let it drip into a graduated cylinder. And you are going to be measuring the volume that you have with a specific count of drops. So you're counting drops, and every once in a while you're going to stop, read the volume, and you'll have the drop count as well. If you divide the drop count by the number of milliliters, that gives you this drop factor. That gives you drops per milliliter. So that's what we're going to do. Now, you can do this by averaging over a lot of different numbers of drops to get it a little bit more reliable. So if you have 20 drops, it's 1.02 milliliters. If you have 20 divided by 1.02, that gives you the drop factor there. Significant figures isn't right there, right? How many significant figures should there be? Well, this is a small count. You could say maybe it's uncertain by a drop. This is got 3 significant digits. So you're going to have maybe 2 or 3 significant digits at most here for your drop factor. But if we're going to average these, we're going to take a lot of runs and then just average them. It's better that we deal with just the average than it is with any individual run that we have here. In the next frame, we're going to see how to enter data like this into Excel and calculate the average drop factor from it.